and you're good to go.
Thank you. It is a real pleasure for me to introduce Regina to everyone. She is a great friend to the Capital District, but I want to read her bio. She's a native of Jackson County, Mississippi, where she resides with her husband and her daughter, Amber. Regina is a 1997 graduate of William Carey College, where she obtained a Bachelor of Science degree. She's currently working towards her Master of Divinity at Grand Canyon University. She is a club opening specialist, logistics. She worked with us in Baltimore as we did our Blitz back a few years back. She has been working with Kiwanis International for several years, and in her Kiwanis community, she's district trustee for the Magnolia region of the Louisiana, Mississippi, West Tennessee district. She's been a member of the Kiwanis family since 2006. She's been a club president, a club fundraising chair, an SLP chair, a club secretary, and of course, a lieutenant governor. She's a member of her local St. John's Episcopal Church in Ocean Springs. She's a lector and a choir member. In her spare time, she enjoys spending time with her family, reading, and attending fountain pen shows. You'll have to explain that one, and cruising. It is a pleasure to have her with us tonight, and it is my pleasure to introduce my friend, Regina Woods Mitchell.
Thank you, Karen. I appreciate that. You know, it's not a lot to explain about fountain pen shows. We were talking earlier about making sure that kids understand cursive writing and learn how to write in cursive. And there's a whole movement now, you'll believe it or not, there's a whole movement now of people that are teaching their kids how to write with fountain pens in cursive. So join the movement. Anyways. So just wanted to share that with you. But tonight, getting to the meat of the matter, we're going to talk about social media, getting your best out of your page. Now, we're going to also talk about why social media is important to have a presence for your club. But for those clubs who don't have a social media presence, this will be a good best practices tutorial for you to kind of figure out what you need to do to go forward. So next slide. Oh, do you want me to do it, Krista, or are you doing it? Am I doing it or are you doing it?
I'm doing it. And it says Facebook.
Tuesday at 3:16 p.m.
No, that's perfect. So why Facebook? You know, when we talk about social media, there's a ton of platforms, right? But why Facebook? And we get this question a lot as we're talking to clubs about what social media platform they should use to not only engage their members, but also to attract potential members. Our recommendation is Facebook. We start with Facebook because according to Sprout Social, which is a media content management company, they say that every generation is the Facebook generation. But is that really true? So let's go to the next slide. Oh, I'm doing it. Did you just tell me I'm doing it?
I'm doing it.
Okay, good. So, according to Hootsuite, which is a social media integration company, the percentage of American adults that use Facebook really varies by the age demographic. So if you look on the screen now, you'll kind of see that how that breaks out. 64% of 12 to 34-year-olds on Facebook, 74 of 35 to 54, and 52% of those 55 and over are using Facebook. Now, this is important because you may not know this, but our average age for our Kiwanis Club member is 60. And our average age for our new Kiwanis Club member is 48. So when you think about those two numbers and those two demographics, we got 52% who are 55 over, they use Facebook, and 74% from 35 to 54. So those are right in our demographic, right? For the folks that we have in our clubs now, but also the folks that we're looking to attract. Now, I'm not going to say that we're discounting those 34-year-olds because that's a large demographic as well. It's 64%. But we want to make sure that we capture all of those folks because that's a lot of people. And so that's really the first and foremost reason why we suggest Facebook as your go-to platform. So as we talk about which platform, what about the other ones that are out there? You can go to the next slide. What about platforms like Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat and the infamous TikTok? I didn't even know what TikTok was until my 18-year-old told me. But what about those platforms? Are they not viable for our Kiwanis clubs to utilize? And I'm not going to say they're not, but what we suggest is quality over quantity. You know, it's better to have a strong Facebook page than to spread yourself too thin over too many social media platforms. Because each platform now has a different strategy and different formats and different demographics that they're looking for and attracting. So it's not just so easy to post a Facebook post and then share that on the other platforms. It doesn't always really work that well for the different demographics and the things that I discussed a moment ago. But I always also want you to keep in mind what those platforms are about and what demographics are housed in those platforms. Now, remember I told you earlier, 60-year-olds is our average age and 48-year-old is our average new age for our new members, right? So if we think about those demographics and look at least one of the other platforms that are out there, like Twitter, for example, only 27% of ages 30 through 44, 49 are on Twitter. That's only 27%. And it gets lower as the age raises. So if you look at anyone 60 years old, there's only about 18% of those folks that are on Twitter. So, and that's according to Statistica, which is a consumer data company. So for us, we recommend a platform where you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck. I know Twitter is exciting, and I know that TikTok is trending, but for a club, we recommend that you avoid the shiny new object and try to stick with one platform that's going to really, really give you the most bang for your buck. So next slide. But
okay,
who's our competition? You know, something to keep in mind as we're looking at social media and trying to engage our members and new members, we often think about, you know, who our competition is. And, you know, it may be a little different from what you expect. You know, we always think about Rotary and Lions and the other service clubs that are our competition, right? I mean, we're trying to get members from them and they're trying to get members from us. That's what we always think. But actually, every nonprofit and for-profit business has the same competition when we're dealing with social media. And you can just advance that. And what is that? It's time. It's time. With the sheer amount of stuff that's on social media that's being shared by either brands or businesses or just your friends and family, you know, there's a lot on social media that is trying to attract your time and trying to attract your attention and trying to attract your dollars. So when we're thinking about social media, we have to think about all those things and all those time consumers that social media is attracting. So as we're thinking about that and thinking about our competition for that precious time, we want to make sure that the content that we produce is going to give our new members and our established members more bang for their buck. So, do you get people to like your page by sharing and clicking and on the links and things like that and comments on the feeds? But how do you do that? So, let's take a little bit of time and look at some examples that'll show you kind of what we're talking about as far as the content that really will speak volumes to us as we try to steal and capture some time. You know, it's all about algorithms. I mean, the Facebook algorithm is all you hear about, right? So one of the things that's really important about that algorithm is it really has to do with the type of content that you post on the Facebook page. So we want to make sure that the things that we post is really going to attract our potential members. So let's look at some of those examples of some best practices. Now, this will give you a great image of a social media post. You know, multiple studies have shown that shorter text tend to work best around 100 to 140 characters. Remember when Twitter actually started out and their original restrictions was 140 characters? That was for a reason. Now that they've got their following, you know, they've upped it a little bit. But according to Sprout Social, you know, posts that get most attention, most time, remember, is those that are inspirational and motivational. The second post that gets the most time is those are the ones that are entertaining. And the most popular of all is that contains useful information. So when you look at this post that's here, it's got a short amount of text, it's got a great picture, but it's also got a call to action and a link that you can go to that has resources about that event. So when we think about social media, we think about what our content needs to look like. Use this as a good example. Short, friendly copy that's useful, inspirational, or entertaining, or both. Because after all, you know, if you write a post or social media and you think it's boring or unengaging, guess what? It probably is. So let's move on. Posts should also be clear and have a call to action. All right, what is that? What's a call to action? What does it mean for a post to be clear? Well, it doesn't have acronyms. You know, it tells you exactly what you're looking for. Your post should be clear and have a call to action. So what do you think? What do you think that a user is going to do when you tell them that your club is doing this activity from this post? They're probably going to click on the link. And that's what we want them to do. Again, it's all about time. So the more time we can get our engagement from our potential members, the better. So let's look again at the next slide. And these are all best practices. So the anatomy of a social media post, remember, it needs to be clear, concise, have a call to action, needs to be inspirational, motivational, and entertaining, but it also needs to include content that's going to catch our eye. So videos and photos are the best. Those are the things that always make you want to click, right? Or make you want to watch, or make you want to spend some time on that Facebook page. So try to stay away from posts and pictures of things like checks. And I know we do that often. You know, our club members stand around with the big check. Or, you know, things that really don't grab your attention. Now, this is important when you're dealing with social media. Remember, we talked about time, right? And that's the hot commodity that drives the algorithm. But how much time do we really have with this person? Statistics show that we've got 3 seconds. sometimes less, but no more than 3 seconds to attract this person. So think about your own social media process and practices. As you're scrolling through, it's 3 seconds or less, right? Our new members are just like you. They're just like us. So we've got to attract them, catch them, and keep them. And 3 seconds isn't a lot of time to do that. So because that's the case, we need to catch them and hook them. And videos are great. They are wonderful because, as a matter of fact, Facebook has an algorithm system, and videos get the highest amount of points. Photos get the second highest amount of points, and text get the lowest amount of points. And it's not because the text isn't great or it doesn't have great content, but it's a visual thing. Think about social media, it's a visual thing. So if you've got a great video or if you've got a great photo, I would suggest that you incorporate it in your Facebook post in order to get as much time out of those folks that you're looking for so you can get noticed. Good content always wins. To reassure you on this, according to Mark Zuckerberg himself, he said no matter what technological advances are made, no matter how much money you have, good content will always win in the algorithm. Good content will always win in the algorithm. So if you only have text, it better be good because you only have 3 seconds. So it better be good. So let's look at a couple of text posts and talk about those. For example, option 1. The Kiwanis Club of someplace in Maryland is collecting diapers for children from undeserved neighborhoods. New and unused. That would be gross. New and unused diapers can be dropped off at any McDonald's location. How that make you feel? Right. No emotion. There's a call to action, but okay, sure, if you say so, but I'm not going to go out of my way to do that. Let's look at option 2. And I really love this one. No baby should ever wear dirty diapers. Unfortunately, too many unborns from undeserved neighborhoods are. And then it gives you the call to action. Now, there's an emotional strike there because if you've been an aunt, a cousin, a parent, you know what a dirty diaper is like. And there's some emotional component there that grabs you at the beginning. And to think about, gosh, diaper rash, the whole thing. All the emotions that are attracted in that one line, that first line. Well, no, I don't want babies to be in dirty diapers and get diaper rash. I'm going to go to my nearest Walmart and buy some diapers and take it to the McDonald's. They're usually in the same parking lot. So I'm not out a lot of time. I'm going to do that. So when you do posts that are text only, you really want to make sure that you are grabbing and hooking their attention from the beginning, or you're going to get scrolled up. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Now, I'm going to ask you a question about this because I think number 2 is a great option. But let's stop for a moment and think, what would make this post really pop? So I want you to unmute yourself or put something in the chat. Krista, if you want to look at the chat, and just tell me, what do you think would make this post really pop?
A photo.
A photo of what, Jamie?
Kid or dirty diapers.
I dig it. Dirty diaper, maybe a little extra, but yes, absolutely. A child crying with a diaper on or something, or a sad baby. Any of that would kind of put what we call in Mississippi lanyard. So let's go to the next slide, because it's not just about text. we got to talk a little bit about images, because if we're going to use images on social media, we got to make sure that they're good. Remember, I talked to you a little bit earlier about the check picture. So let's look at this first post. And I don't want to offend anybody. If you know somebody from the Clinton Kiwanis Club, don't have them calling me or texting me, whatever. But if we look at the first example, this is real life. So here you go. As you can see, it reads, the Clinton Kiwanis Club donates $500 to United Way program. Clinton reads, thank you for all you do for children. Well, I don't know about you, but I feel not so warm and fuzzy about that. I mean, clearly the people in the photo look happy. I mean, they worked their keister off to raise that $500 for Clinton Reads, which I don't even know what Clinton Reads is. And there's no description, there's no link. So let's go to the next slide and let's see what we could do to maybe enhance that. So one thing is good. We've got a picture of a kid reading, which is important. We actually talked about how many books that $500 purchases, which tells me what Clinton Reads is, which is helpful. How can we make this even better and grab even more engagement? This is another opportunity for you to tell me what you think.
Maybe have a video of the Kiwanis Club reading with the kids or doing something with the United Way program.
Absolutely. Ding, 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 ding. Krista gets a gold star. Aye, soldier. See, I'm learning. Absolutely. A picture, a video, or anything that actually shows the kids that are receiving this 300 books and have the club members participating in that. Tag all the friends that are in it along with the school, so that the school can post it on their social media platforms. So it goes out to all the teachers and all that. I mean, that's really important. And it's also good, to have a call to action in it. And I think someone mentioned that, it just says, help us help kids. I don't really know what that means. I'm going to assume that you mean you want me to donate some money to buy more books, but I don't know that for sure. So having a link that will tell me what Clinton Reads is would really help, along with a call to action to help fund that endeavor. So let's go to the next slide. And I'm bringing these slides up because I want us to all be aware that, we can all grow through social media. I mean, we're on it so much, it becomes like happenstance to us. We just like, share, repost, whatever. But at the same time, when we're thinking about our club's page, this is our club's reputation that's at stake. And so it's really important that we try our best to get this right. So what about this one? We've got the Kiwanis Club of Grand Liege area, and they're looking for volunteers. So they've told you that up front. They're looking for volunteers. And a good thing is they've tagged a whole bunch of people. And tagging people is going to put this post on those folks' feed, which is good. But does it tell you really anything? What are these initiatives? We need your help. We want Kiwanis initiatives to come to life. What initiatives? I don't know what that means. So come to this meeting and talk about our initiatives. I don't know that I'm feeling warm and fuzzy about doing that. Not only that, the picture does not send me through the moon either. So let's look at the second one. A little bit different. It's got a picture in it, which is great. It's got a couple of folks that they've tagged in it. That's great. And it says kids need help learning to read. Okay, well, that makes sense. But we need more people like you to help. We're going to have this meeting tomorrow, and we're going to talk about that. I think that's amazing. That is really, really helpful. And if you're thinking about where am I going to get these pictures? I mean, I don't have this many pictures for my Kiwanis Club and our activities and when everybody's looking and whatnot. Where do I get these pictures from? Well, I'm glad you asked because if you go to kiwanis.org/brand, we have a photo gallery. It's kind of like Photo Bucket, but Kiwanis style. And we've got a ton of all these pictures that you can use, customize for your own social media page. But what can we do to make even this Kiwanis Club of Disney Florida's post pop? Oh, come on now, y'all.
In the in the chat, it says Kiwanis resource videos are awesome. Not specific about what the club does, needs members in action, possibly.
I think Catherine
Yes.
was trying to say something too. I'm not sure if
Oh,
you were able to
Catherine.
unmute Catherine Cummins. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I mean, I was just saying a video of showing the reading or one of their action reading events would have been really cool.
Right, right. I mean, because what we remember, we said the algorithm, right? Videos get the most points. So the more videos we can have, the better. And if we're going to do a picture and you don't have one, then you can go to the brand page. But it's even better to have a picture of your own Kiwanis Club members doing a service project in your own community. Because I'm going to tell you, if you have some parents that click on that link that the school shared and they see their baby, getting read to, they're going to call them and ask them, hey, you got a book today. I saw you on Facebook. And it's going to be a really big event. And those could be potential members to your Kiwanis Club, eh? So let's go to the next slide. Oh, somebody had something to say? Okay. So look at this one. Sometimes kids just need a little push, and it's a Kiwanis video, which is really great. Be a guide as part of Kiwanis. So it's got a call to action. It's got kids in there. If you've seen the video, it is the funniest thing. They're in the living room, junking up. We've all been there or whatever, whether you're a parent or aunt or whatever. And so it's got the emotional connection with a strong call to action. Be their guide. This is a good post. This is a good suggestion. So let's go to a couple of more. And I don't want to belabor this issue, but I just want to give you a ton of options on what to look for, what not to look for, how to make sure that your Facebook pages engage your members and your potential members. So now, one thing I want to share about our Kiwanis Club meeting post. More often than not, yes, old logo, Karen, old logo. We don't even do the bird cage anymore. Yet, this is on a Kiwanis Facebook page to announce their meeting. So let's talk about it. Not only is it an old logo, but if you don't know anything about Kiwanis, how excited are you going to be to come to the Kiwanis meeting, which is what they're calling the meeting? Not me. I mean, I'm scrolling up. I'm passing by this thing. I get that they're gonna meet on July 2nd, but for what? What are we doing? My time is valuable. So let's go to the next one. Now, this one is better because it's got some pictures in it, which is good. It's got kids in it, which is what we do. It's got some detail about the meeting. But again, what's a Kiwanis? When I went to my local post office to open our Kiwanis Club P.O. box when we first opened our club, And I told him, it's for the Kiwanis Club. He says, the Koala Club? What is that? You guys save koala bears? So, I mean, everybody doesn't know what we do. And so if you just announce your meeting as it's the Kiwanis meeting, well, okay, great. But that's really not selling me either. So let's go to the third one. And look at this one. The title on here is different, which I love. Helping kids in Houghton thrive. Okay, I'm already making a mental picture of what thriving means to me when it comes to kids. So let me read a little bit about what it means to you and see if this is why I need to volunteer, because that's what it asks in the top. This is why we volunteer. So I already know it's a volunteer organization. I already know it's a volunteer organization about kids, and it's in Houghton. And now I've got some details on what some of the things that their initiatives are that they focus on. I mean, this is a good opportunity to see what a club meeting post should look like. So let's continue. And again, I think this post speaks to one thing that Karen has been really focusing on, and Governor Dennis has been really focusing on this year, and that is club opening. This is an actual post that was posted for a Kiwanis club that was opening. And we did a service project that went along with it. Now, we've got kids in there. Help Us Help Kids is telling us what that detail means. We're going to assemble art boxes for kids. Okay, I know what that is. I know how to do that. And if you look, you've got, 26 people that went to the event. I think that's awesome because I was at it and 9 of those became members of the new club. So there's very little mention about Kiwanis there outside of the logo and outside of where it's hosted by. You have to realize that when we're doing social media posts, there's a lot of people that really don't know what Kiwanis is. Or if they have heard of Kiwanis, they have a negative connotation in their head about what that looks like. So having some splash of Kiwanis in there is great, but don't overwhelm it. Overwhelm the post with your activity, with your event, with your service project, because that's really at the end of the day what we want people to get involved in. The Kiwanis Club is simply our vehicle. But I want to stop and talk a minute about those 188 people that are interested. Because every time we see a post, every time we post something, we see the folks that are interested, the folks that are going, and the folks that went, right? What do we do with those interested people? Let's go to the next slide. We're going to talk about it. And this has been extremely successful for me and for those that participate in it. So I'm going to show you a little bit about that. Most of the time, if somebody likes our page or likes our post, we might like it back. Thanks for liking. And that's great. This is a potential member, y'all. I mean, they like your page. They like your post. They probably will like your club if you invite them. So let's look at this one. Miss Rita, I opened a club recently in St. Martin, Mississippi, and Miss Rita sent a message to the club page, and she said she was interested, she wants to join the group. And I immediately reached out to her. Well, not immediately, 2 hours later, because Miss Rita is an early riser. As you can see, 5:53, she posted that. I didn't post back till 7. I thought that was a decent hour, but anyway, I reached out to her, gave her some information, and my call to action was I want to meet her. You've already told me you're interested. You already told me you have kids there, so you obviously have some, attraction, some draw, some motivation for these kids having successful lives. And so my call to action is I want to meet with you. I want to talk to you because I want you in my club. So then she reaches back out to me and tells me what she's got going on. Let's get together. She's a member of the club now. The thing that I want to stress about this is we often don't do anything outside of maybe a quick thumbs up or a quick smiley face for those people that like and share our post. They're taking their time to do that. We should take some time to try to engage them and get them in our clubs. Now, why is all of this so important? Why is all this so important? Two reasons. Number one, 3 seconds. We've got 3 seconds to catch their attention. So as I wrap up tonight, I want to just drive that home. Time is important. And if you've only got 3 seconds, you've got to make it count. So that's my first takeaway. That's why this is important. And if you want your club to grow through social media, you've got to make the time worthwhile. So what's the second thing? The second thing is it's going to take 3 posts of content that your visitor is going to look at that's going to make them really want to hang out there and learn more about your organization. So if they've only got 3 seconds and they're only going to look at 3 posts, those 3 posts better be good for them to stay and hang out and become prospective members. You know, Facebook can be an awesome tool for social media, for growing your club, for opening new clubs. It can be all of that. But it really has to be utilized and it has to be worked. So let's talk about our best practices, because I know what you're thinking. Holy smokes, Regina, like I'm tired already. I'm this club secretary. I'm doing all these things. You know, I got kids. I just graduated with my PhD. You know, I'm tired, Regina. I can't do all this. And to answer your question, no, you can't do all this. That's why you get a team together. You get a couple of 3 folks from your club that, number one, are familiar. Okay. They must be familiar with social media and Facebook in order to do this effectively. And you also need somebody that is a great proofreader. They might not be on social media all the time, but they will catch your mistakes. They will catch your errors, because that's the last thing you want to do is post errors and typos and all of that in your posts. Remember, this is your reputation on the line for your club. So you've got some people in your club that can help you do that. To create posts, you can do that ahead of time. I mean, schedule an hour and do a month's worth of posting, and it just starts running through for all those folks that are looking. They're like, oh my gosh, this club is on it. They're like so active. They're posting all the time. You spent an hour a month ago working on those posts, and now they're just showing up on your feed. So take that time, but put a team together to do that. And the best way to get your message to the people outside of your club is by posting content that people will want to share with their family and friends. So stay away from uber political and uber religious content unless you're looking for politicians and preachers for your club. There's nothing wrong with that. But if that's what you're looking for from your club, then that's what you are going to attract. But where do we get all this great content, all this information? How do we get these pages put together? Because, Regina, I ain't never done this before. Again, thank you for asking, because if you go to kiwanis.org/buzzbuilder, you will find not only all these posts that I showed you as best practice posts, but you'll also find a ton of PowerPoint presentations that you can go over with your social media team and your club to let your club know, hey, we're going to revamp our social media and we want you to be a part of it. So there are PowerPoint presentations, but there's also content in there that will really, really help you make your Facebook page pop. So I've talked a lot and I haven't taken many breaths, But let's take a moment to ask a few questions, and I will do my best to answer them. Oh, come on, guys. I wasn't that good.
I had a quick question about like utilizing services like Canva and other like more graphic design elements as part of photos. Have you found in, I guess, your research that those are also effective ways to keep people engaged?
Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. I actually am an Adobe person, so I use Adobe Spark, but same thing. What I like about those programs, and it depends on the cost. So you got to make sure that, you know, it's cost effective for your club. But what I like about them is that they already have ready-made templates with the correct dimensions and picture quality. So if you're using those systems, those programs, those are great. Those are really, really great. And the photos are professional. They look clean, they look slick, and it makes your page look like you are really, really on top of your game. But no, I love those, Katie. But until your club gets money, go to the Kiwanis.org/brand and, you know, scarf the pictures that are on there.
So, Ro, if your club doesn't have a Facebook page, you've told us where to go to get pictures, and you've really guided us for information. What would someone, a novice, do to even get a Facebook page for their club? Is that all on BuzzBuilder?
Yes, they're both on BuzzBuilder. But I'm gonna tell you this: if you need any tutorials at all, that's what your Kiwanis staff is here for. I mean, you know, we do this for a living. And Steve Hatt is the guru. But I'm gonna tell you, I just really will take a page and duplicate it. I know that's lame, but if I'm doing a page that's gonna be a club opening page, I'm gonna take one of my other club opening pages and duplicate it and then just add additional content. But yes, we're here if you want to do, if your club wants to do a one-on-one tutorial, like you get a social media team together and you have some specific questions or want to go ahead and put that together, yeah, we can work you through that process for sure.
And do we contact you for that? Or is there a better way to do that? Better channel?
Yeah, contact me because I don't want to bombard Steve Hatt. I have to warm him over to get this stuff done. Because he does handle all of our social media and all our branding. So I have to kind of warm him up. But he'll do it for me, but I have to warm him up. So, but yeah, get with me. And if it's something I can't do, I will reach out to him. But for the most part, I could probably do it for you. Help you walk through it anyway.
Awesome. Anyone else?
What issues do we see with social media? I mean, because I'm going to assume that some of y'all do have pages. So what challenges do you see or are you facing?
I encountered an issue just last week with my personal home club is doing a joint venture with another club, and the president of the other club put something on his own personal Facebook page that was part of our computer project thing, with whole lines of kids and everything and everyone in these images. And allegedly parents had said, oh, well, it's okay. But there was nothing formalized or verified that parents were okay with their children's images being on there. We initially were really concerned, and then we realized, well, he had inadvertently used his own personal Facebook page versus the Kiwanis Facebook page. So we were a little bit relieved with that. But I mean, I think we're real vulnerable sometimes when we're not careful with what we put on in terms of
Well,
image.
and you're 100% right. I think that as your social media team gets together, you really have to think about a release form or something of that nature. Now, if you're taking pictures of kids at school, at a school function, that's already covered, but you need to have a copy of it in your hands for your club, just if anything pops up. But kids parents sign waivers at the beginning of school for them to be on social media for their own pages and stuff of that nature. So, but if you're doing things that are outside of the school sphere, you might want to, as an organization, come up with a waiver, and we can help you with that as well.
We have a waiver, a Capital District waiver on the website, Capital District website under resources. So you can just go look there. If not, get in touch with Josh or myself and we'll make sure you have a current one. It was changed a little bit from what Kiwanis put together, but check it out. It's always good to have.
Is that
I put Rose's email on the chat box. So if you want Regina's email, it's up there in the chat box.
and I can ask this question later, but have we ever thought of putting that online, or having people fill out like a waiver online?
It's an individualized event, though. That's the thing that would, like Regina said, the schools cover any of the SLP functions that are happening through the school. And, but again, if we have it, it's online, I guess, if you want to say, but to fill it out, it needs to be filled out. It needs to have an active signature on it.
Okay,
So you got to have a signature of the parent.
gotcha. Any other
So
questions?
any other concerns? Yeah, because I'm way over my time, I think, Krista.
That's okay. We've got till 8, so you got 2 minutes to go.
Get it in 2 minutes.
Go ahead, Richard.
Thanks, Regina. Thank you very much for your presentation. You hit on some really good points. One of the things that I find is that we're all obsessed with Kiwanis, but the majority of people that we come into contact that aren't Kiwanians, they don't know Kiwanis from koalas, like you said. And as much as pictures create the most zap, on the posts and everything, I think it's really good to have that nice pithy phrase that we have that explains Kiwanis. Kiwanis is a global organization of volunteers, dedicated to improving the world one child, one community at a time. Somewhere on your Facebook page, so that every post that goes on that page, maybe at the top, if you call it the profile page or whatever you call that, I think that little bit of text is a good thing to have in there, so they know that we're, what we are, who we are, that sort of thing.
I dig it.
Be interested in hearing your
dig
opinion
it.
on that.
No, I am not against that at all. I think that we should have a little more logoed information on our pages. Like I said, the biggest concern that I have is not that people don't know, because I can work with them. It's the people that think they know. How many people have you come across that you talk about Kiwanis and they're like, oh, that meeting with all the old guys? What I mean? And so sometimes, if I'm offensive, please forgive me. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. But we don't ever want to, have people have a misconception. I want to tell you what Kiwanis is about, because you can read it all day. But let me tell you, because I guarantee that my story is going to be a lot more compelling and a lot more emotional than you reading a text. And remember, think about the algorithm: text versus pictures versus videos. But no, I agree with you, Richard. We need to have some information about what we're about. And that's why that little description block needs to have information about, what the event is, what we are as an organization.
Ro, I'm going to jump in and
Yes.
use my rank here for a minute, but you did a great job. I think everybody really appreciates what you presented. But what I want to jump in on, for everybody that doesn't know it already, we did cancel decon. However, we are having an educational and leadership workshops We're going to have a weekend, and it's already launched on the website. So you can go to the website and find out about hotels. You can find out about registration, and workshop information will be out within the next couple of weeks, we hope. So stay tuned. We want to see you there. We're going to have fun in Roanoke.
And that was my district announcement. If you go to the website, you can go to events up at the top in the ribbon, and then 2021 District Education and Leadership Conference. So if you're going, it'd be great to see you guys in person. Get your hotel rooms quick because our block is not that big. So get it at the discounted rate. Just putting in that word for everybody. But Rogue, thank you so much. We had a great time. That was fantastic. And we really appreciate your help here. So thank you so much. We'll be contacting you, I think.
Well, I put my cell phone number in there, and I'm best with text. So text me and I'll call you back, or call me if you like that. But yeah, just give me a shout, shoot me an email. I'm there for you.